This video provides a general overview of the flex-based controller system from HolidayCoro. First, let's start off with what we are driving. These are the expansion boards. We have a 16-port SPI, a 16-port or 4-output long-range differential with receiver, and then here we have a AC-based board for controlling 120-volt AC lights. Now, these three types of expansion boards can be driven from two different types of CPUs. Either the mid-range AlphaPix Evolution or the high-end HinksPix Pro. So let's talk about each individual controller in detail. So this expansion board is available as an assembled unit only with either the HinksPix Pro or the Evolution controller, and that controls up to 16 AC outputs. Now, the next board we have for expansion is the 16-port SPI board. Now, this board is typically used in high-density situations, such as megatrees or a matrix installation. Any place you have a lot of pixels all located very closely together. Now, the next one we have is a long-range differential board, and this board is designed for distributed environments. So while this may have very centralized lighting components, this might be going off to a star on a tree, or off to a house outline, or to a arch, or a snowman, and these can be going in distances of over 300 feet. We then terminate those with this, a receiver. So we have a Cat5 cable that goes from this to this, and this allows us to again get back to our SPI, which is used for controlling the actual pixels. So what we have here is still 16 outputs. It's just this is split up into 4 different sections. Now, these can all be combined up to 3 expansion boards at a time. Now, a note is AC can only be run by itself due to safety issues. So you can combine any combination of 3 expansion boards, so up to 3 SPI, or 3 long range, or any combination thereof. And so let's show you an example of what that looks like when it's completed. And here we have 2 expansion boards. So we have a, on the top, AlphaPix Evolution CPU right here. And then below that we have the long-range differential 4-output. And then at the very bottom down here we have 16 SPI outputs. So we can see that this might be used for a combination of a project where you have, let's say, a megatree driven by the 16 output cables locally. Then these other long-range connections go off to a star or an arch. And this is all driven by the CPU on the top, which in this case, again, is a Evolution controller. Now, a few notes here. You'll notice that all of our wiring is very simple. It all is tied on one side, on the right-hand side, and all this fits within the controller. So we're still able to fit quite a bit of other components in here. Now, this is just an example configuration. We have this in every possible configuration, including a complete custom setup. You can order these with any combination of setup, including and up to items where we have off the website. So if you have a very unique need and you need something highly customized, just let us know. So this is the 2 CPU options. As I mentioned, this is a mid-grade and a high-end controller. And these controllers, and let's just go ahead and we'll zoom in a little bit here. And these controllers have some of the same basic features. They both have network switches that allow for daisy chaining. They both have the same CPU interface, which is a 4-screen OLED screen and the 5-button connection. Now, there are some other minor differences in the software and other minor hardware differences, but the major difference here is that the HinksPix Pro does allow for Wi-Fi access, so this can be used on a Wi-Fi network. It has a 1/8" jack that allows it to be used in standalone mode. It also has an FM transmitter output option, so you can transmit to FM audio stations or broadcasts. Now, the major difference here is going to be standalone operation. While this controller is just a standard controller, E131 ArtNet protocols, it's designed to be fed data from an outside source. It has no ability other than test sequences to run by itself. It always needs some external source of data. As where the HinkSpix Pro can take source of data in 3 ways. It can take data from outside applications such as X-Lights, LOR, Resolume, Madrix, or any other type of application that works with ArtNet, DDP, SACN, E131. So it can be driven from that external source into the Ethernet connections or wireless connections. But it also has the ability to play sequences from EasyLights.com. So if you have purchased a sequence from EasyLights.com, that sequence can be downloaded automatically into this device over the internet. Additionally, this controller has optional free software that allows you to use X-Lights to compose your sequences and then upload and store them on the SD card. Optional. And then they can play directly from this controller. And in some cases, you should be able to also be able to use this controller to control other controllers or to control multiple HinkSpix Pros in a larger display, just using the wireless keep alive signal between them. So this is a much more advanced controller. So if you are considering standalone operation and you are using X-Lights or sequences from EasyLights.com, this is absolutely the controller to go with, the HinkSpix Pro. If you need more basic uses and you don't need anything advanced, you don't need wireless, you don't need standalone operation, then the AlphaPix Evolution is going to be a better choice for you. See our website for additional details, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. We're always happy to answer any questions you have.